Oh, we shall. Thank you very much, Milos. And my banana's finished, Tim. I didn't appreciate you stealing half of it, mind you. That was meant to last me a while.
It's tasty.
Quite a fan of it. Do you like bananas? Genuinely?
No, I really don't.
Are you the kind of person that hates anything banana flavoured?
I don't mind banana. It's not something I'd pick, but I don't mind like a banana flavoured milkshake. So I don't hate it, but the texture of banana, no, can't do it. Can't do it.
It's fantastic.
No, thank you.
Yum. All right. Well, our bans are... Oh, now that has got to be a spicy ban, Tim. You're banning away a Brava. You've got intent to play something pretty spicy. Normally looking in towards like Evil Eyes, for example, on a Maestro.
I was going to say I'd expect maybe a Maestro somewhere.
Yeah, maybe not in this first site, but you will see it brought across others as well. So very keen to see what w7m have got in store for that one. And Liquid have gone away for taking away, of course, castle barricades and those keeper barriers. So really trying to make sure there's no impediment to them moving through the map. Have to deal, of course, with Gag. It seems like Ephemeria might make an appearance, and of course, the lineup that you can see here from w7m presents its own list of challenges.
This is a certified
bands. We start things out here up on the top floor. And we've already seen Border once tonight, Tim. Is it going to be a straight shootout once again, or do we get something a little more strategical on the go?
I think we'll see a bit more strategy to this one because I think we'll see people surviving longer. I don't think it's going to be kind of the one-sided gunfights that we saw from Fury earlier. I would expect these two to be able to hang with each other pretty well, really, when it comes to those fights. So yes, I think there will be opportunities for the attackers to get in and really do a bit of work and push towards site. Looking at the side of Liquid, very interestingly, we've got Nesk on the Maru, so keep an eye out for that. Where's his position? Where's he going to go? Where's he maybe going to use that Gara hook? And at what point in the round? I talk about this, we don't see it very often. I always like a late Gara hook entry. Last 20-25 seconds when the defenders are really worried about the execute coming from somewhere else and just zip in through a window behind them, but we'll keep an eye on that one.
I mean, their lineup does look like a set-piece play, right? When you've got the Glaz, you've got the Blitz, you've got the Gara hook of the Amara, you've got the Gridlock to lock things down as well. It screams it's going to be a hit-around sandwich, which is why w7m here might, I was about to say maybe a little jump out there or something crazy going on, just to try and look to be quite disruptive, but here we go. They're in a good spot, so they're going to try and look for a plant going down, smoke's going out, which will line things up for this Glaz. Smoke's coming out at the same time, a couple of whiffs taken in by resets, but this Blitz is right up in their face right now. Palu gets one back, bringing down his old brethren and Nesk at the same time, and two more kills quickly follow. Numbers advantage remains with the side of w7m though, 3 versus 2.
The problem for Liquid at the minute is that they don't have the diffuser in hand either. You've got DS and Resets both trying to work inside a site, but they don't have anything they can do to really distract the defenders by putting a plant down, for example. Another kill comes in and it's looking good for w7m. Dots manages to cut down Resets, and that's going to close things out 1-0. It was a good attempt from Liquid. That's the kind of strat that you're talking about, really, Des, where you just throw a load of stuff at the site and see what you can get by playing direct, not playing into that gunfight game around the map. It didn't work out for Liquid this time. I want to say that Diaz was a little bit unfortunate. Oh, no, I think it was Ask who went in on the blitz, wasn't it? Sorry. So Ask goes in, and he gets somebody cornered at metal, and they do end up dead, but I think his first flash doesn't hit them because they kind of sit in behind the metal detector, and he was then kind of trying to drop back and just let his shield recharge and didn't take the challenge onto them because the hand wasn't in front of the face, and he took a lot of damage from elsewhere. And I think it was just good movement from w7m, from the defender particularly, that managed to get out of the way of that blitz shield and just create enough distance. So it was good stuff from the defenders.
I think a lot of it comes down to Liquid's approach to the round was, rather than using the cover of the Glaz to get a plant down, it was go kill, right? They wanted to kill 2 or 3 players, get themselves good control, and then make a plant happen. It just looked like a bit too much chaos going on around that smoke, though. It was a little bit of a meltdown. So, nice attempt, nice idea, but w7m were just more than ready for them. Now we get to step into a next round and see how things go. Quite a far run out there from Dodez, of course, and get back with that dash, no problem. And a very, very low risk of being caught out on the return back in towards site. But that bar being on the outside, in case you're wondering why the hell you do it, it's the sound cue. You know someone's out on that balcony, you can swing them, you can try that run out, you can be aggressive. And so it's nice to see w7m being willing to want to challenge Liquid here, right up by the outside borders of the map, rather than letting them inside and only then looking for kills off the back of it.
Volps is going to be the one tasked with keeping hold of East Stairs. Going to be out there with the smoke, which is the usual operator that we look at this. You were talking about Lobin, jump outs and unexpected kills, taking gunfights when the opportunity presented themselves, and well, he's just done exactly that. Here's Ass goes onto the drone, gets straight out there and finds his man. Ass taken out, and that's the Twitch drone's gone as well.
Telling you, man, he loves his aggression low, but he gets bored otherwise. He can't sit still for too long. Bolt's finding onto another, and this is what I said earlier on, right? They're barely inside the building at this point, yet they're still being challenged at every single turn by members of w7m. It's a really strong, really active defense. Doesn't know about East Stairs. Myers just walked forward and killed 3. That is one way to delete a round out of seemingly nowhere. Unaccounted for, and absolutely decimates this team. Makes it a 4K. Liquid, Maya should I say, making it one apiece.
I think this is why everybody is so excited to watch Maya when in the server. Just so explosive as a player, so much talent and ability, and really putting it to use there to get Liquid back into things. But overall, we often talk about these hero players and how you can't rely on them, and so Liquid, they need to sharpen up. That's 2 rounds that they could have been losing quite easily there. First one they did lose, second one w7m was certainly in the driving seat until Maya happened. So need to make sure that they're coming in. What I want to see from Liquid is getting some confident control of the map this time. They want top floor, they want office, they want East Stairs, they want break room. I want to see them get confident control of that and then start working towards site.
All right. So good to see that there's individuals willing to step up and make themselves heard when required. What I love about, and the reason why I said Maya earlier, by the way, is one of those players that obviously we've seen him float around a little bit. I remember back on the Lost days when he was, you know, with a few of the players that we see in this lobby now as well. Lobin, I think back to those days, like he was prolific at points. He reminded me in a way of like Fantasy back when he first appeared. Just absolutely stone cold, hard to stop, didn't quite have the same aggression or pace that we saw at a player like Fantasy, but was regularly putting up really strong numbers. And I think with the right team around him, he could be one of those players that is consistently seen as one of the top players in the game. It's just taking him a little bit of time to find and click, I think, where he really fits and what his role needs to be, have the right teammates around him. And I'm not saying that this version of Liquid is the perfect form for him, but I am really excited to keep on watching Maya and see what he can develop into. Maybe over the next year, you'll see him really find his footing and turn into something quite special.
We have another little bit of a run out, I think, there from w7m. We see the notification pop up. It's going to be Volps who manages to pick up the opener onto resets. The Ash being taken out. Not the end of the world, of course. We know now well enough. Ash is there to take those opening fights, try and get the best foot forward for their team, so not a big loss in terms of utility. But manpower, it's certainly not ideal. Ask is going to take a little bit of damage on the Blackbeard as well. Dot's just playing around that East Stairs. He does have support from Volps on the bottom of East Stairs as well, and this is what I was talking about from Liquid. They need to be moving these players, disrupting them and forcing them out of position. Want to see them confidently gain map control.
Nice one from Ness to find out Volps here as well quite early on. Evens out the scoring, and ooh, I was about to say Parlo in a great spot there to step across into the barricade and maybe get a freebie, but gets a lick of DS, or Liquid doesn't quite manage to find a kill off the back of it. Now we step ourselves forward, the 4 versus 4, carrying on half a round to play. It's much slower and more composed so far as a game team than the border that we saw earlier.
Dot's just holding that long angle still inside of office. Liquid unable to move him as of yet. 4 versus 3, and they're just, again, they're losing this war of attrition. They're losing these little gunfights along the way. Nesk steps up, keeping his team in it. Somehow, though, look at this. Asker's managed to get into sight, and he's putting the diffuser down. I don't think w7m had any idea. They step around the corner, and they start finding the kills, and what a retake this could be from w7m. Lobin, quick thinking, straight on the diffuser. Palu cuts down Maya, and that is w7m really showing how to play a post plant.
Wonderful stuff, and again it's Lobin springing into action when required, Tim, putting himself in the line of fire, making that hero moment happen, or it's either that or it goes drastically wrong, but comes out on top when is most needed. Both teams really going at each other, and this is what you want to see from a more balanced game of border. Into the bans that we go. Of course, I haven't seen that Maestro step up just yet. Clearly a ban more aiming towards, I guess, being able to rely on other gadgets so that they won't get taken away by that Brava. Of course, can still be destroyed in some cases by Twitch. Not everything can be, but a lot of things can be. got ourselves a little pause here due to that resets disconnect as well, and then we'll find out what those third bans are for either team.
Yeah, I think so far W7M certainly having the best of things, not just in terms of the... It could be 3-0 is the reality, but for a Maya 4K. So Liquid definitely need to get themselves established. You know, coming in, Des, you said W7M could be a little bit of a runaway for them. And at the minute, it's certainly looking like it could be heading in that direction. Team Liquid, if they don't do something soon, if they don't start locking down a few of these attacks, and as I say, it's getting confident control of the map. I know they got a diffuser down there. You probably think, yes, they got the diffuser down. They were inside of sight, but they didn't have control. That is the important factor. W7M were able to retake so quickly because they were in position to do so. It's almost like they were allowing the plant to go down. As soon as it did, they stepped around and got the kill onto the Blackbeard. They were there for the second kill, for the follow-up from the bottom of these stairs. They had everything prepared and ready to go, and that is what I mean by Liquid not being in proper control of the map. They should have been able to hold those angles. You can't just throw the diffuser down. You gotta have your post plant ready.
All right, well, hopefully get back underway in just a moment's time or so. Apologies for the delay. I know we've had a couple of pauses tonight, but one thing, of course, worth stressing is the first day of the stage. It's when we get all the kinks ironed out. It's when we, of course, have all of our players playing remotely, as we've said, whereas before they've all been in stage. And sometimes there are issues with power across Brazil in places, normally related to storms and heat and things like that. So sometimes you will find there's a very, very brief delay. And thankfully, it hasn't been too drastic, Tim. And the most we had was about, 5 minutes earlier on? Wasn't all that bad.
No, it wasn't too bad at all. As you say, we'll get everybody back in just as soon as we can do. It looks like Liquid are playing at a facility together. Yeah, it looks like they're at a facility together anyway. So, yeah, I don't think we're going to have anything too drastic. But yeah, looking so far so good for W7M. I think 2-1 could easily be 3-0. I think they're going to be very happy with what's been going on so far on their defence. We've seen very much over the last couple of games that, things can definitely change around at the half, but I don't know. I feel like W7M, I think, very much as Leo said, are closer to that top three than maybe Liquid are to W7M. And I think we're really starting to see a bit of a gulf opening up, and this is a good example of that.
Can't rely on Maya to drag you through every single round, Tim.
Exactly that.
As they'd love to.
You can't. It's, we talk about hero players, and don't get me wrong, they're very nice to have. Especially when you're a team like Furia who's winning round after round, and yeah, you chuck in a hero player to get a round as well. Great. But when it's the only one you're getting, and that's the reason that you're getting that round, that's when it becomes a bit of a problem.
Sure. I'll let you guys know when this gets back underway. I mean, you'd assume all being in a team house, they'd be able to just get moving again, but unless maybe Resets isn't in the team house. It's quite funny, actually. There was a bit of chat about it yesterday, I want to say on Twitter or X, take your pick on the name you want to use. And someone, I think, had asked Fabian, why are you guys not in a team house? Thought you would be. And the one thing that Fabian shared, which I think is obviously always worth considering, is we actually had a vote, and the majority just didn't want to. They'd rather be able to play from home, and so that's what we're doing. And we just get together for Super Weeks, and we get together for pre-events, and that's the way that we've chosen to do it. And it's probably one thing worth looking at. People might look at it and go, "Oh, that team's not playing in a team house. The org don't support them." Not always strictly true. Sometimes for players, they just believe they play better when they've got their own comfortable setup and they can wrap the game up and then tuck up in their nice little own bed and not have to worry about being away from home. That can be what brings out the best performance in people, and that's completely fine.
Absolutely. You've got friends and family around you. You've got the opportunity to, have that time away from the game as well. I can imagine, if I moved across the country to live in a house just to play a game, it's going to take, it's going to become a huge focus, isn't it? And of course, there will be benefits to that as well. And like you say, it's to each their own. But you've really got to lean into what your individual players like. And for me, I'd miss my golf course, Des. I don't own a golf course, just to be clear.
Tim, I do want to tell you this. This may shock you. There are other golf courses around the world.
I know, but it's not, it's not your own, is it?
But it's not yours, though, is it? You don't own it, as you just said.
No, but I play there a lot, and I know it.
You can play a lot of other golf courses, Tim.
Yeah.
God, you are such an old man. It's not, I've missed my wife, I've missed my daughter, I've missed my creature comforts. No, it's I've missed my golf course.
Oh, I'm so lucky she doesn't watch Siege.
Don't worry, mate. I'll clip it and send it to her on WhatsApp later. We're all good.
Very kind of you. I remember I took my wife came to Berlin Major, which obviously you know, but everybody else watching well. She came to Berlin Major, and it was the first live event she'd managed to like actually make it to. And I remember, and bless her for trying, After the final, so 3 days of watching Siege in the venue, she said to me, So the teams on attack are trying to get into the building. I think I'm starting to get it.
Bless her. Oh, it's funny. Every now and then my parents will tune in and mess with me, be like, I've got no idea what's going on, but it looks cool. I was like, yeah. I guess it does look cool. Colours, yay!
My mum said exactly the same as well. She was like, I listened for a while. I had no clue what you were saying, but for some reason I felt very excited. I was like, well, that's good.
That's always good to know we're doing our job.
That's what we're aiming for. That's good.
We can get back to doing our job, Tim, because Resets is back in the lobby. We've had our extra bands come on through, seen the Ace and the Fenrir come out, and round 4 is underway.
Shout out to all the parents, partners, friends, family, and everybody else that supports us all in esports, even though they don't know what's going on half of the time. So let's get into this one and see if Liquid can figure out what's going on half of the time. 2-1 down, they find themselves. Maya moving in quickly on the sledge, looking to take some ground underneath. As we round 4, we're going to see w7m doing the same rotation on defence, so they're going to be into Armory and Archives again. That's where Liquid are going to be attacking. So again, we're looking at those similar places. Top East, Break, Office, particularly important for Team Liquid to take control of here. They get caught out! Do they? They get away with it. I think it's because... Is it Ask that's out there on the Blackbeard? Nitro's not going to do any damage. Lobin is going to take a couple of shots, needs to be careful. Volps will pick up Maya, 5 versus 4. But, oh, it's Ask now taking the damage, 4 versus 3, as Volps manages to pick him up.
Yeah, w7m are looking pretty in control of this game. The way that we thought they might, to be fair, like... On this defensive side, at least, they're looking pretty good. Oh, gets the smoke canister shot out there at the last second, and then comes out with the gun anyway. Who cares, man? Here comes Volts. The big 3K could make it a 4 if he spins on a dime and looks towards his right. It's being pinched in a little bit here. Has got support, and Palu's there to help him out. And between them, they clean up that round, Tim. 3-1.
What a beautiful 4K coming out of Alps there, and it just shows the power of Eastairs and why teams want to keep hold of that position. He's getting kills all over the place. He's getting them at the bottom of stairs. He's getting them on balconies. He's just hitting and breaking that Liquid attack at every single turn. Brilliant from Volts. I love that little back and forth where the smoke canister gets shot out and you think, oh, nice shot. And then you think, bit of a nicer shot from Volts as he absolutely slammed Resets on that corner. It was just beautiful stuff.
Well, if you want to see players popping off today, well, I think we've had a lot of it throughout it, but especially on board. If we look back to some of the shots that KZ was hitting earlier, you know, look back to Nade in the earlier game as well. Like, it's just been one of those days where it's been absolutely bonkers on border. Bank has been the same, Club had its moments. It's been a good day of Siege overall. Not always the best from a team perspective, but if you like seeing players popping off, I feel like this has been the best day for it, Tim.
10 seconds to go.
It certainly has, and I think we're going to get maybe a few more rounds of opportunity to see some popping off. With ventilation and workshop for w7m, as they have 2 more defensive rounds to go. They've had Fenrir taken away from them. We have seen them using it a little bit along the way. Interestingly, Dordes this time, highly rated by yourself, Des, coming into this one. He's going to be on the Oryx. Plenty of mobility available. I always love the excitement, the possibility of Oryx jumping up a hatch and having a real impact on the round with that slightly unusual rotation that we don't have any other defenders can do.
I like to think they're bringing it along here for the shields, Tim. They're just like, yeah, they're probably going to play shields at some point. We want to show them what's what. Bam! Going straight for it. Because that fantasy of hopping up through hatches you don't often really get to see, to be fair. But if a shield's up in your face, well, I'd say it's pretty good for that purpose.
Just looking down in towards Customs, knowing that the push may come from detention door. But they've managed to sidestep that. Maya moves instead through storage and actually into sight. The at that.
Easy.
For free. The cam wasn't being
For
checked.
free?
The bulletproof cam was there in position, but manages to take down Lobin on the Solis, and they know that he's there now. And again, w7m just reacting really well to what Liquid were doing.
To get this back and forth where you've hit this point now where it feels like Liquid are at least kind of realizing what they've got to be doing here to deal with w7m. Might have come a little too little, a little too late, because you tend to want to see attacking the attacking side of board to be the one where you're finding the majority of your rounds here, and they're still trying to battle to get over that first one. w7m already taking half of them. Onwards to take the lion's share most likely, given there are only 3 left standing here. Make it 2. Dodez finding 1. Nesk falling, and only Diaz and Ask stand tall. One more falling down, but it feels, Tim, like this one might be a little too hard to get over the line.
Yep, Rotero drone going to be sent in by Ash. Just try and clear out a little bit more of that utility. Try and give themselves an opportunity, I guess. 58 seconds left on the clock, so you can certainly use it. The air jabs go out, create a little bit of a safe space for them. Problem they've got is that 2 of the players at w7m are up on the top floor. You got Palu and Dots up there. Dots has got shotgun in hand. He's ready to mobilize himself to get into position, open up the floor, get the vertical angle wherever that plant might go down if Ass does try to do it. So you feel like without taking the top floor, honestly, I'd be very surprised if Liquid are able to win this.
Gotta respect that vertical, and sure enough, Ass has got the presence of mind for it, but look at that, it's a drive-by! We didn't even see Vols coming, just off-screen Ferrari'd him. Shotgun gone, out the room, no problem.
Can we have that car sound again, Des? Beautiful. 4-1 then for w7. As I said, without taking that top floor, it was Liquid had just not ticked to that box again. You know, they'd gone in. Meyer had got an opening kill on Lobin inside of Workshop, had got it for free, to be honest, stood in front of a bulletproof camera nonetheless. But it's no good. Working, you can spot a gap and take an opportunity and get a kill, but it's not going to get you around. If you're attacking into ventilation and workshop at this level, and Liquid know this, you know, it's essential really that you take that top floor. Even if you've taken the Solis out, it doesn't matter. There's only so many plant spots that you're realistically going to use. And as we saw, it wasn't even a case of them needing to open any more up. Dots had shotgun in hand, ready to do it, but they already had the verticals onto the spots that Liquid were playing into, and they were prepared for it. And so Liquid need to be focusing more on that, doing the basics. We've got a clear top floor. If we're attacking into ventilation and workshop, we're not going to get away with a plant otherwise. There is a reason that teams play with four out of 5 players on the top floor when defending ventilation and workshop, and there is a very good reason.
All right, Tim, do you see him being able to get the second round on the board here, Liquid, or do you think w7 and get the 5-1?
Of course they can. You know, they've got some of the best players in the world.
But do you believe
of course
they
can. At the minute, I don't think they will. Unless things change, unless they start paying more attention to those basics, to get in control of the areas of the map that they need, I think that they will struggle to find themselves another round, because right now, w7m are just... They're using the map control that they're being left with. For example, the top floor in the last round, they used it beautifully to get that done. You know, they were in position to get the vertical kill, then they got the challenge of the Nomad, who was trying then to do something on the top floor, but it was too little too late. And I think it's the same here. Last time Liquid tried to barge into site and just put the diffuser down. If Liquid go in, get Office, get Break, get East Stairs, then I think they can win the round. But I don't think they'll do that.
We'll see if they can start with those first few simple steps, Tim. The problem is now they've got to face off against Lobin on the Clash, just to really slow things down that little bit further. They've also dropped away w7m, it's worth noting, from playing the Oryx so much. I think realizing shields are not going to be a part of Liquid's gameplay today. Historically, they would have been, because when Lagonis was on side, that was his most play operator by a country mile. His second one then being Blitz, and the rest after that was a very long tail of only operators that have been picked up a few times. So maybe it's a change in tact for Liquid that you aren't going to see shields being part of their wheelhouse anywhere near as much as what you used to, though I do know we've also seen Ask on a Monty a few times as well.
Ask is just going to be rotating himself around that balcony on the top floor, so where will the pressure come from Liquid? Dots manages to pick up Maya, a big loss again. We've spoken about hero players. If that's how Liquid need to grab rounds, losing Maya is certainly losing an opportunity to do exactly that. But like I said, w7m are just in control of this map. They're in control of so many of these spaces and they use them well. And that's what they continue to do here. Palu just having a look around the corner into Passport, sees that there's nobody there, so he's going to use that angle himself. Nesk picks up Dordes. Can that be the catalyst for Liquid? They're getting themselves a bit of control here on the top floor. Look, they're starting to push into office. They've got another player on the Lion there looking to join. It's going to be Resets looking to get inside. The clash is forced away. Better from Liquid.
Enough to get around over the line though, Tim. That's what we're asking the question of here. I got the one back, but still lots of things to stall them out as we get into that last 60 seconds. You've got the clash, you've got a C4, 3 smokes still yet in pocket. They're going to got to find a way to work their way through it all, and they have got some of their own utility play behind, but not a whole ton, truthfully. A couple of flashes, those EMPs, they want to try and deal with the clash. I'm still seeing electrified walls, for example, so I think at this point, w7m, they know exactly what's coming, and they look ready for it.
Yep, Lobin's just, you can see the yellow pings are coming out. He's feeding that information in. One of Liquid have dropped in. The diffuser is going to be teased a little bit from Ask. Volps manages to find Diaz. Ask does get the kill onto Lobin. That could be critical, Des. That will likely allow him to put that diffuser back on the ground. But look at this. They've been able to take the top floor. The superiority is there. The kills come in. And again, w7m have the answer. And why? Because Liquid didn't control what they had taken. They've allowed somebody back upstairs to get the kill onto Nesk and to retake the vertical. Nesk was not prepared for that fight, and w7m again have recognised the danger, and they've already been working in the background to take back what they needed.
For all our chat earlier on as well, you know, Volps has been going nuclear this game. Often seeing him paired up alongside Palu, admittedly out on the roam somewhere like East Airs has been quite a central point for him. Just played lights out this game so far. And even when Liquid find themselves with a small opening, a chance, like killing the Clash player there behind the shields, wonderful stuff from Ask. But even when you have that, you're still losing out elsewhere. And that has been their big frustration. More bans as we go into that second half then. The Monty being taken away alongside the Blitz. So a total change in banning strategy for Liquid, trying to remove those shields away. Of course, the Blackbeard still exists, so may well get picked up here. And the 2 bans for the defenders are exactly the same, coming in towards Azami and Castle.
Attackers need to locate and
let's see then if we can get anything different out of Liquid on the diff. They're going to be going to Armory and Archives. Maya on the Vigil. I am looking at immediately. We'll see what Maya had a big round, but that was about all really. Don't. Currently 5 and 4 of those kills came in 1 round. So it's been a little bit quiet otherwise. Now it takes an operator where Maya has to go and get some kills. 2 jobs for Vigil. They don't bring anything else to the table, really. Impact nades are generally used for their own rotations, so you're looking to waste time and get kills. We need to see both in us coming out of Maya. I don't really like Vigil too much for Border, if I'm honest. I don't think Vigil thrives here too much because the map isn't that big. So if you're getting the spike somewhere, pretty much know that he's in 1 or 2 rooms, and you know, at this level of play you could make a very educated guess as to which one it will be. So I'm not saying there's, you know, don't bring Vigil. I just think, yeah, Vigil on something like Bank is way harder to track down on something like.
Agreed, and that may be what makes a difference for them in the start of this round, Tim. I won't be too filled with confidence just yet, because looking at this lineup, it is oppressive from w7m. Anything that could shut down your expected roamers to come and cause a bit of chaos, well, this looks like the answer to it. The key thing with w7m, though, this lineup wants to execute. It wants to be looking at the site. It does not want to be dancing around the map, trying to pick people off. It can, But that's not really the point of it. And the more time and utility you invest in trying to deal with the roamers, the more it's going to sting you here. Oh, and into the back corner. He's gone down. Nest has gone huge. Dots being down here is huge. A second one. Both of them taken offline. 2 key operators. Blackbeard, sense, removed. Execution power is gone. And he makes it a third. How many times tonight are we going to see plays like this, Tim?
Yeah, Nest just taking liberties there. Absolutely beautiful stuff from him, showing that, you know, we spoke about the amount of time he's been in the game. Does he still have it? Well, he showed he's still got a big piece of it there. Beautiful 3K from Nesk. Barely moved his feet, and that for me is a real signature dish from Nesk, is getting those kills through great positioning and not having to move very much. That's something he's done consistently throughout his career. Rolls back the years, gives us a great look at it there. Nice 3K, gets the round over the line, and I particularly like he just saw that fraction of movement heading through that light screen, and bang, he was straight round the other side of it, and he knew the kill was there to be had. Really nice stuff. So Team Liquid get themselves wound back on defence. Keep w7m at bay for another round. It's 5-2.
Really wonderful stuff, and it's that kind of composure that you build over many, I mean, a decade of experience, Tim, is probably the way to look at it. Really good stuff, and it keeps Liquid fighting for now. We've been in this spot before, Tim, with the 5-1. We saw it in just our last game, and we thought, yeah, team that are 5-1 ahead, clearly going to go on and win this one. We feel like the same here, but we saw how that last one went. It ended up going all the way to OT, and it was the team that was down that 5-1 that came back to win the whole thing. So let's not count Liquid out yet, Tim. We could still see some absolute chaos unfold here across these next few rounds.
Oh, of course we could. You know, I would say the same for w7m that I said for Liquid. We need, if you're going to see them getting rounds, they need to be getting into the map, getting control of areas. They weren't ever, you know, we saw Nest kill 3 people on balconies there. I think it was, well, 1 had just run inside. So effectively 3 people who were outside of the map, Nest killed. So we need to see an attacking team on board, getting themselves inside, getting themselves some control, and then they can start working and building from that. As it is, Bravo Drone's going to go in, searching, seeking for those gadgets. Will find one, but not finding maybe as many as they were hoping.
Sure, not yet. Let's see how things get set up here for this round then. At least for now, looking at this lineup once again, it's not leading in towards like a Dockerby going hyper-aggressive, as we've spoken about a couple of times, but you are seeing the Lion being set up here as well, helping them clear their way through. Maya, of course, no doubt the target here, acknowledging they've got some roamers to deal with. And the operator that we saw banned back in the first half by this very team, it's Dots jumping across onto the Brava. Now, here more looking in towards those 2 bulletproof cameras, of course, trying to deal with some of those FNATs as well, coming out from Ask's Fenrir. There are a lot of things here that you can do to really soften things up for them. Maya goes out the window, tries to make something happen, gets down in response, and does get finished off. However, resets elsewhere has also got rid of Lobin. Liquid giving w7m no room to even breathe here on border.
Volts is still alive, which is a big point to the plus side for w7m here. Having the Grim, having the Bees, it gives you something to execute behind, as does the Lion with the E1D scans. So they've still got, they haven't lost anything when it comes to putting the diffuser down necessarily, apart from the gunpowder. That's not ideal for them when Nest then takes out Volps. Now you've just lost the tip of the spear that would have been the utility that likely you used to clear that space to think about putting the diffuser down. So now it's a case of going in looking for kills. Palu and Nest, could it be any more poetic? Man. They trade each other a kill for a kill, and that is going to see the round go to Liquid. Resets finds Dots, and again, w7m struggling to get in the map.
At this point, do we look at an early attack timeout here to figure out what's going wrong? Because, as you say, they're being like, the fact that Maya's throwing himself out of a window sort of tells you enough. Liquid just do not want to give w7m time to get set up. And it's a good idea, looking back at not the round just then, but the one prior. They had a massive execute focus set up on the go, and the way they've disrupted it across both rounds was Nest being hyper-aggressive, and in the second round, it was Maya being hyper-aggressive. They're getting tripped up before they can even get started in these rounds, and they've got to find a way to calm things down.
Attackers have located a bomb.
Ventilation Workshop will be the next port of call for Team Liquid. They did very well defending Bathroom and Tellers last round. So w7m, will you learn from Team Liquid's mistakes and get in, get control of Armory and Archives? Make sure that you clear out those defenders that are playing above. They will be up there in numbers. As it stands at the minute, there are 4 of them up there. As I said, quite often we will see 4 out of 5 defenders up on that top floor looking to hold on to it. There's only Diaz at the minute that is still down on the bottom floor. So w7m challenge the borders, get into the map, and start finding a couple of kills on that top floor.
All right then, boys. It's now or never. You've got a much more dug-in comp to deal with. On the defensive side, that is, you know, looking in behind, very slow operators, mirror windows. Echo, of course, coming out once again. Already seen him have a big impact at some point tonight. On the other side, I wouldn't say it's like leaning any more in towards trying to deal with that roam. If nothing else, is stepping away from having a Dockerby or a Lion or a Deimos, for example, anything along those lines. Instead, leaning in towards more of the same, trying to have control with things like the Nomad to control those roams coming out from the other side, or of course the Blackbeard being the spearhead of this lineup. So for both teams, it feels more like the sort of lineup you'd see on a different map, to be honest, rather than one that you strictly see on Border.
Doda's just trying to work his way in here. If he finds himself an opening kill here and they can start building from that, he has the opportunity. He can't quite get the angle onto the player reinforcing. Liquid get away with that one and manage to keep themselves at full strength for a little bit longer.
It's not a bad spot to be in for sure. If Ness goes down there, he's been the X factor in a few of these rounds. Not the player you want to be losing. Sure, he's running around in the mirror, nice and slow. He's not going to be the crazy guy that he has been in a couple of these rounds, but still able to have a massive impact regardless. A lot of focus on towards East Airs here, as we come to expect. We had a good chat about this on the Border earlier on, Tim, was that East Airs is where basically every single attack starts. It's always step one at the top of your checklist.
Couple of shots again just fired by Ness, keeping everybody at bay for the time being. Knows that he's going to be coming under some real pressure, into some real trouble here. Does all that he can do to get himself out of it, but no, we hear the Selma just taken off there. I don't think Nesk is going to be under pressure just immediately. The wall stays solid and he can keep fighting. 1 minute 10 left to go, and again w7m just not getting in and clearing them out.
Here we go, a flash coming on through. This one didn't hit though, and oh no, it's a Blackbeard. We know what this normally leads to, Tim. It often looks like death. Got a bit of support from behind as well, but of course not too much the mirror can give here unless it's a great C4 over the top. A flash coming in front, but Dots is in, showing what he can do on this Blackbeard. Makes it a second, looking for a third, but can't quite find it. Another one steps up though. It was Volts for a second. Palu finished off, and it's a 2 versus 2. When all the dust settles, Tim, this is what it comes down to.
Aski's got himself hidden away on that top floor. I'm not sure whether w7m are aware of his position or not. w7m do manage to find Lobin with the kill onto Diaz. Plant is going down. Yokai drone no use, and that is going to be the round for w7m. It was hard fought, Des. It was hard fought. They had to really bleed for every inch of that map that they took, but ultimately they get it done. It was the trade game for me there for w7m. Every time they lost somebody, there was an answer, and they just kept grinding that man count down of Team Liquid and made it very difficult for them to keep themselves in it. One more round will do it for w7m, but I wouldn't put it past Liquid to bring this one back and to see a few extra rounds.
I am not at all surprised to see that Blackbeard ban being taken away. Dots has been a nuisance on that operator. And we said this back at the start, when they banned away the Monty and banned away the Blitz, it was like, well, Blackbeard's still a thing. You're going to see it getting pulled out. But in that round especially, Dots has been an absolute nuisance, and now has no idea what to pick. He's like, what do I play? I can't play Shields anymore. Let's go to Ash instead. Because that's a similar thing, right?
Need to locate and defuse bombs.
Almost identical. Almost identical.
In his hands, yeah, it probably is, to be fair.
Just run in and try and get some kills. It's all the same. It's all the same. Back to Armory Archives we go then. Team Liquid were able to win this back in round 7. It was their first defensive site. w7m, I'm just having a look across the lineup. Nothing really giving away too much. We've got the Lion, but other than that, all pretty standard stuff. The ace there for the Breach. You know, we don't really see too many teams at this level try to work towards West Breach, which is what you generally see in ranked, but it's a little bit of a difficult one. Ness showed why last time around. He played himself inside a CCTV and got 3 kills as they tried to get towards that wall. So I'm not sure we're going to see w7m go for that side. With the class coming on, makes me think it's more of an Archives push.
It could well be. This is what they're riding everything on as well, and saying if we're going to win this game, this is what we win it with. I mean, will they come to regret banning away the shield? Very maybe. I want to say it was Dark Zero that were in a game where there were certain things being banned away, and it was all targeted towards certain operators. I want to say they banned away a Ying as a 3rd ban. And then I think Nathan was saying after the game, he was like, well, if they ban away a Ying, we're just going to play Glaz. And so what did they do? Banned a Warden, play Glass 3 rounds in a row, absolutely slapped their opponent. It was a really cool thing to see. And of course, here we have got a Warden on side. DS is drawing that around, but just shows there's always something else to consider here. A lot of pros and teams have really spoke strongly about the new ban system. They think it adds a lot of variety to the game, which is great. And I do think we are seeing that building up. I know it's only day one of SAL, but from Reload and from what we've seen of NAL as well, it does add some real flavor to the game. I've loved it so far.
Aska's just going to be in that east stairs position with the smoke, as we expect. So far, we've seen a lot of great play from there, not just in this matchup, but across the entire evening tonight. We've seen some big plays on border, top of east stairs. Now then.
Oh, boy.
Is it going to be a freebie? No! Too slow was the cry. Resets gets taken out. 4 versus 4. Ask is there for the kill onto Dots. That's going to be the mute gone, the glass gone. Gonna have to have some rethinking by both sides, I think.
For sure. I mean, it was almost unfortunate because Dots got away with a slither of HP and then died to a player sat on east stairs anyway. And I'm not sure if that was slight mistiming coming out from the side of w7m because they should have been pushing in to this part of the map at the same time. And sure enough, they'll try, but look at this. Ask is there ready and waiting, collects a double for himself. And that has really taken all the sting out of this w7m attack. There's no glass on side anymore. I say that's him, and Parlu's just walked through 2 players. What the hell?
Parlu doing Parlu things, and interesting that we saw those ingredients, the new environmental ingredients, having an effect there. The pipe was burning just outside of East Stairs door. Your w7m player runs in, probably wouldn't have run otherwise, has to do that, worried about getting past that ingredient and not taking damage. Lobin does manage to find Nest, but it's all up to Diaz effectively now in a 1 versus 2. He's managed to down Volps. Volps is just trying to crawl to safety. They might actually have a realistic opportunity to pick him back up, but they won't need to, as Lobin takes the peak and takes the kill, and w7m take the 3 points.